Hi, this is Byron.
And this is Rosanna, and welcome to
In Your Face!
I think he just has the plan to let us do whatever we want and just, be cool. Be Catholics.
Life would be really pointless if he didn't. I think that everything in my life is building up to something, and I think it's the same for everyone.
Too many good things happen in my life for there not to be something helping it along.
Hey, I can see your future.
Oh, yeah? What does it say?
One day you're going to be very famous, but before then you would have touched a great deal of people.
Ah, sweet. But is it what God has planned for me?
I don't know, but it's what your pomps say.
But what does God have planned for me? I want to know.
I do think God has a plan for me, just giving me the opportunity to come to Canada and getting accepted to university and all that, and making friends. And I think God has a plan for me for something. I'm not sure yet what it is, but I'm still waiting for the call or a sign or something.
Okay, first things first. We know that God is...
God is
God is
love.
love.
God is love.
So if God is a God of love, then he can't make you do whatever he wants. I can't say I love you and then make you do what I want. That just doesn't make sense. Perfect love demands free will.
Some people, they have these psychics that, they're going to find out what's really going to go on in the future. They're going to figure it out, and then they're going to live by that. Well, our faith is not the Psychic Friends Network. We're not trying to figure it out. People want to know what's the future and what's God's plan in their lives. And where does God want them to be, and how do they want it to be? Well, it's a difference in perspective. We see things this way, and God sees all the possibilities, everything that is possible. So, in God's plan, it's not necessarily we're going to choose good or bad, but sometimes it's we're going to choose good or better. And that's the choices that we are looking at in God's plan. But we want to know, what is God's will? And how do we know God's will in our lives? How do I live that out? What do I want to do? And what does God want to do in that?
God is in everyone, so I think that God takes the form of kind of your conscience. So when you do something wrong that's against God, you feel your conscience tells you that it's wrong, and it just makes you feel bad. So that means that you're not doing the will of God.
So it's kind of like you're driving somewhere and you want to get to one place. You can either follow God's way, so kind of take the highway and just, here are your rules, here are everything, you follow the speed limit, follow the signs, you'll get there. But if you get off the highway on the wrong spot, make some weird turns, get into some neighborhoods, you'll end up in the middle of nowhere and you'll get lost.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. There's an end destination to our journey, but our journey can take several different paths to it.
So if we were going to say how we look at life and how God looks at life, how would we demonstrate that?
Wait, hold on. So,
We look at life like this, and God looks at life like this?
Yeah, kind of.
I've seen that before.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know.
Bird's eye.
Probably. Yeah, kind of we have a limited view because we don't know everything, and we don't know what everyone else around us thinks. So if we make a choice, other people might make another choice because of our choice, but God just sees all of it.
In the Bible, Jesus is asked about the end of time. He
He says he knows neither the hour nor the day, that only the Father knows. So God knows. But does that mean that he has it all planned?
How will I know if it is God's plan in my life? How will I be able to discern that? For instance, maybe God is calling you to be a priest. Ah! No, just kidding. Oh, I am a priest. Yeah. So, whatever God is calling you to, I always say to people, all right, do this really, really dangerous prayer. God, I give you permission to do what you need to do in my life. This changes your whole perspective. I say it's dangerous because if you say that prayer, then you're saying, okay, God, all right, I give it all to you. It's yours. And if you want me to do this, okay, I will do that. And I will trust that you will lead me through this. Sometimes people get confused and think God wants you to do something that you don't really want to. Well, it's the willingness to be able to follow God wherever he leads you. That's the key. That's the key to free will. God will provide you with opportunities along the way. You say yes, you go here. You say yes, you go here. You say yes, you go here. You fall, oops. But you say, okay, I messed up. I say yes. This is about discernment, discerning God's will in your life. Because that's what he wants you to do. That's who he wants you to be. He wants you to be fully who you are, the best. And he wants the best for you. Do we trust that?
In Jesus Christ, I think we have a large freedom. We get the freedom through Jesus Christ to live our own life and to decide what we want to do with our life. I think that God has a plan for our lives, that God has a plan for our world, but that we are free in this plan, and that it's our decision how we deal with this plan, or how we deal with our life. So we can live an ideal, and we can follow this ideal, and we can really live a way to God. He gives us freedom on our way to him, but he has something like a goal for us, what he would like from us to do for him.
Isn't it kind of dangerous to always look for a sign for like the smallest detail? Like, am I going to have a hot dog today? Well, I'm waiting for a sign.
Oh, no, I mean with big things, important things.
I'm going to an extreme, but I'm saying, like, when you always look for signs.
No, about the important things, right?
Yeah, but is it possible to misread things? And like, if something happens, you misread it and you're like, well, I wonder if this is a sign.
Yeah,
like,
but if you make a wrong choice or a wrong decision, especially if it's about something little, you can just get back on track. The key is kind of staying in tune with God.
It's hard to figure out, like, okay, am I reading too much into this? Is this a sign? Like, where do you draw the line? Where do you... That's a good point.
That's what makes it a journey.
So basically you're saying through trial and error, you learn.
You don't have to necessarily go through trial and error, but...
No, I think that really helps.
I think trial and error works for me anyway. I mean, like, there's been times that I felt like this is what God wanted me to do, and then, I don't know, like, through life, I don't know, I just think that I've been really blessed. Sometimes there's been some really rare moments where I felt God's will, and I don't always follow it. But in those rare moments, it's taught me to look for those moments in the future.
When I was a little girl, I learned that God wants us to go to heaven and he wants us to be with him.
So that's God's will for you.
Well, that's God's will for everyone.
Okay.
So if God's will is for us to get into heaven, then anything that we do that gets us into heaven is doing God's will.
But how do I know if what I'm doing will get me to heaven? It's like, instead of reading my palm, you should be reading a map.
Well, we know that having faith and doing good works is a good place to start.